My dear brothers and sisters, fellow continentals, fellow Pan-Africans, I'm here to introduce myself and to introduce you a new hope, a new power into the future of Africa. My name is Hannington Mubaiwa. I am the architect of the economic revolution of Africa. I am the architect of the execution plan that will drive Africa into the future. Africa to be a leading economy in 50 years. I think we have talked enough. We have complained enough. And we have been contained for long enough. There comes a time when the people must say, enough is enough. And not only that, enough is enough. And to wake up and realize that there comes a time when a people needs an intellectual software upgrade. When a people have been contained, when a people have a culture that has been decimated, they are left to wander in the desert, as it were. And it's time for us to engage a new psychology, a new software to drive Africa. That we are free people. We can drive our own destiny. That we have everything we need to drive ourselves into the future. And by God's design, every society has got what is called a gene of emergence. In other words, we are built at creation as an African people with an inbuilt ability to advance ourselves into the future and to detach ourselves from any liability, any challenge that may exist into the future. It's a science. And we need to adopt our revolution in that instant. It is important for us to understand that the political revolution was achieved. It's time for a total revolution. It's time for an economic revolution. It's time for us to move beyond history and beyond analysis and drive ourselves. We are the freedom that we have been looking for. We are the power into the future. Africa is for Africans. And only African organic thought leadership and strategy can drive the freedom of Africa into the future. We are totally capable of designing and implementing a plan that will make Africa or position Africa in the leading continent in 50 years that God has designed it to be. And in doing so, it takes a plan. That is why, for the past 7 years, God separated me to put together a plan that I call the Rapid Africa Plan, the fast-track modernization of Africa. What we need right now is to have a bias for action. And as we speak and celebrate our history through the Africa Day, we continue to celebrate. I would like to honor the original revolutionaries, Marcus Garvey, Kwame Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, President Banda, President Nyerere, President Kenyatta, Herbert Chitepo, President Mandela, and Mbeki. Did I mention President Banda? And President Robert Mugabe. And I would like to also honor in this time the current budding revolutionaries of the new era of the total revolution of Africa. We acquired a quasi-political revolution which has not been polished enough. And we had remaining an economic revolution so that we can have a total revolution. We are moving beyond history into our power by engaging a total revolution. The next decade is the decade of Africa. And the next 5 decades are the decades of the rise of Africa into its place to become a leading economy with a massive consumption of 3 billion people in 50 years. And I want to introduce to you a plan with a sense of urgency, if not emergency. For Africa has been colonized, as we all know, by China. And Africa is contained by the vestiges of neocolonialism, which we must detach ourselves from. But to do that, we need a plan, the Rapid Africa Plan, and we need an action plan. What I've done is packaged the concerns, the history of our old paradigm into a new paradigm that is driven by the philosophies of the future, by a new psychology, a mindset that will explode Africa and fast-track it through industrial revolutions so we can catch up with the fourth revolution. Behind a vision, a leading idea, and a concept of intent, for that is the science of the transformation of any nation. And to that effect, we need to understand that there are 3 phases of structuring such a revolution. Number 1, we need a re-entrepreneuring, a rethinking of the future of the value or an idea that can be conceptualized into a vision. In other words, there's a visionary space. Then there's a strategic space or a re-engineering space where we are detaching ourselves from the old and adopting the new. Then there's the institutionalization phase. And today I want to deal with the visionary stage. First of all, according to this plan, we need to place President Banda of Zambia as a patron of this revolution. And his spokesperson, President Mbeki. And their job is to guide and to give us the philosophies and the support to get us back onto the revolution of the emancipation of the African people. And we're going to concentrate on the visionary space. And under the visionary space, we need to understand and realize that we need a revitalization, a transformation of Africa. And to do that, we need a vision. And therefore, there are people already in Africa, there are leaders who have shown their desire for us to chart a new course. It is easier to work with somebody who is already on that journey. And in that light, I have proposed that President Kagame, President Akufo-Addo of Ghana, and of course first of Rwanda, President Kagame, President Masisi of Botswana, and President Magufuli be the initial team to adopt, to polish, to innovate the vision that I've designed for the total economic revolution of Africa. Africa is going to be driven by a vision that is built on a bridge supported by 3 columns. Number 1, the means. Number 2, the culture or the value system. Number 3, the strategy. Their duty is to have our vision clarified and structured, qualified, quantified, given a sense of schedule, and justified. And to ratify the strategic map, which is the vision, the means, the culture, value system, and the strategy at this stage, so that we can hit the ground running. It is important for us to send a message to the Europeans, the Westerners, in all their totality, the Asians, especially China, that Africa is entering into the second part of its revolution, the economic revolution. We're going to detach ourselves from the complexities that has impeded the transformation of Africa, and we're about to launch the new plan. We're going to kickstart the plan by designing or ratifying or clarifying our vision and creating buy-in into that vision. Then we'll enter into a re-engineering stage where we leave what doesn't work, adopt what works, and usher a new paradigm with new strategies that will make Africa a leading continent in 50 years by GDP. And that the next decade and the next 5 decades are the decades of Africa, as Africa explodes its middle class, as Africa explodes its population to be the leading consumption power in the world. In the next phase, very soon, we will put forward the second phase, which is the structuring of the strategy, the re-engineering, and then the institutionalization. But at this stage, let's focus on the vision and get President Mbeki to coordinate President Kagame, President Ado, President Magufuli, and President Masisi to work on our vision. Somebody says, for without a vision, a people perish. To paraphrase, we need a vision so we can have a plan. The time for Africa to have an action, a bias for action, and have a plan to drive us in the future under the proper science of transformation, as God favored us with that science. We have enough knowledge, we have enough capacity, we have enough ability, and the inbuilt power by God to drive Africa into the future. I want to thank you all as we move into the first stage of the transformation of Africa through what I call the Rapid Africa Plan, the fast-track modernization of Africa. Thank you very much. Like I said, my name is Hannington Mbaiwa. I'm the architect of the transformational modernization of Africa, the rapid modernization transformational program of Africa.